Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. How to get rid of annoying neighbors with a harmless joke. Our OP absolutely, accidentally found a way to do it. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're new here and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Here we go. Accidentally got rid of my neighbors. I live alone, 35-year-old male. I've never had much contact with my neighbors. They've been my neighbors for a couple of years. I've lived here for about 12 years. Their kids sometimes play in my front yard, leave their bikes and balls in my driveway. It's a minor convenience, not really a problem. I just push their stuff back into their yard or driveway when this happens. On occasion, they partially block my garage with their car. Again, not an issue. I'm not the type to make a big deal out of minor inconveniences that can be easily ignored. The other day I was cleaning my house. The windows were open. I was playing music quite loud. It was a sunny day. It was nice to have a breeze through my living room as I cleaned and my tunes turned up. It's worth noting that this isn't a regular occurrence. Usually I have headphones on, but I was spring cleaning this day. My neighbor rings the doorbell. She looks fairly grumpy and irate. Abruptly tells me to turn it down. She wasn't rude or anything, just abrupt. I very politely and with a smile, sure. But you should know that the music helps drown out the voices in my head. Immediately after saying that, I turn to no one in particular and say, yes, I agree. Looks delicious, but I'm not going to do that. I don't know why I said this. It was part joke, part wanting to be left alone, part being annoyed that my enjoyment was being interrupted. She looked stunned, but leaves immediately without any comment. I leave the music turned down. Since then, 2 weeks, they've kept the cars well away from my garage and there's been no sign of their kids. I've also learned from a different neighbor that they're looking to move. They're renting. Now, all of this could be a coincidence, but I have a suspicion that they might be moving because they're uncomfortable living next to someone who they think hears voices. The fact that they changed their behavior, stopped parking near your garage, and kept the kids away just shows they know they were being inconsiderate and bad neighbors, but they didn't care. They probably would have got worse too, so no loss if they move. And our second story. Crazy lady tries to steal an Xbox before the store opens. I work as a warehouse stock person in an electronics store. Basically, I go around to every shelf in the departments and make sure the products are in the place they should be. It's a pretty easy gig, especially since I clock in and clock out before the store opens, so I never interact with customers. Until today. It was a pretty typical morning of checking off the shelved products when I heard someone loudly banging on the locked front doors. I could hear it all the way from the back of the store where I was wrapping a security tag onto an Xbox One X, important for later. While carrying the Xbox, I walk into the view of the doors and see a 30-something-year-old woman banging her fist on the glass. I saw that she was wearing a jacket with the company color on it, so I assumed she was a coworker. She stopped banging when she saw me and waved hello. Remember, I only work before opening shift, so I never interact with customers, but I also don't know all of my other coworkers who do work during store hours. I thought to myself, oh, she must be one of the sales reps, because they often come in 30 minutes early if they have an opening shift, and it was around 40 minutes until opening, so it didn't raise any alarm with me. I walk up to the front doors. There are 2 sets of them with a vestibule in between them. The first set opens to the outside and lets you into the vestibule. The second set opens to the vestibule and lets you into the store. The lady's standing outside. I take the Xbox I was holding and place it on a register counter nearest the doors. I unlock the second set of doors and step up to the first set and begin pushing it open when the lady shoves her body through the opening of the doors. I guess waiting 2 whole seconds for me to finish opening the doors was too much for her. She's already passed the second set of doors and walked into the store when I finished closing and locking both sets. She wasn't walking to a register to clock in. She wasn't directly walking to any department. All she did was quickly look around the store before turning back to me and says, "Where's your game section? I'm looking for a Switch." My heart dropped. She was a customer that I let into the store before opening. Big no-no. I start to internally panic a little bit, but I think to myself that all I need to do is get her out of the store. Me. "I'm sorry, ma'am, but we don't open for another 40 minutes. I thought you were one of my coworkers when I let you in." The crazy lady rolls her eyes and says, "The website says that you open at 8 a.m. It's 8:20. Me. "Our website says 9 a.m. "I'm telling you, 9 a.m. You need to leave." Crazy lady. "I only need to buy a Switch. I'll be 10 minutes. She begins to walk further into the store when I stand in her path. Me. You can buy whatever you want at 9 a.m., but right now you need to leave. This lady is getting pissed and says, I want to speak to your manager right now. Now, I was the only one working in the warehouse that morning. We really are understaffed, but there was a supervisor in the back office doing paperwork. The supervisor is a really understanding dude, so I knew he wouldn't get mad at me for letting this crazy lady in by mistake, but I made the idiot decision to deal with this by myself. Me. I'm the only one here. Now leave. This is a good time to tell you that I'm a 5'3", 110-pound female who looks like a 15-year-old when I'm really in my 20s. I do not look intimidating in any way. The crazy lady got this smirk on her face and said, fine, I'll go. And when she started to walk to the doors, I think that's the end of it. Until she grabs the Xbox off the counter and tries to unlock the doors. I rushed up to her and began to tug at the Xbox while yelling at her to let go and I will call the police. The Xbox was wrapped in a security tag, so the whole time this tug-of-war was happening, the door alarms are blaring because of the tag. My supervisor hears the alarm and comes out of the back office to find me wrestling with this effing crazy Karen. He comes over to help, but not before the crazy lady punched me hard in the stomach. I let go of the Xbox to hold my stomach, but she still doesn't have the door unlocked. I end up puking on her and the Xbox because she punched me so hard. She drops the Xbox and goes to hit me again, but I saw this one coming and mustered up all my strength and rage to kick her square in the chest. I might not look strong, but I can damn well be when needed, but I only had the strength for that one kick. I rolled into a ball and agonized over the pain afterwards. My supervisor called the police while the woman whined in pain and was still trying to unlock the door. I guess she didn't realize that keys are used to open doors. Edit. I pressed charges, but I'm not sure if the company can win a case for trespassing since I let her into the store. And our next story. I towed neighbor's car with no warning. 3 years ago, my 30-year-old male, sister, 36-year-old female, and I had the opportunity to get out dad, 62-year-old male, a house that was close to us after our mom passed away. Before her passing, he used to be this funny, friendly, and happy guy who was always making jokes and was the sunshine of our lives. But with all due reasons, after my mom died, he became sad and lonely. He cried almost every day, and it hurt our hearts to see him like that. We lived in the next city for work, and we begged him to please come with us. He refused at first because leaving the family home hurt him more than living in it, but after a while he agreed. He chose a small house just for him and his pets. We didn't rent him an apartment because he's just not that kind of guy. He has a 2016 Aveo that he doesn't drive that much right now, but from time to time he likes to go back to our hometown and just spend the day in the places he and mom used to go. Problem with this is that he can last a month or so without moving the car. He uses it more during October to December because it was my mom's favorite time of year, and thus his neighbors, a 25-ish married couple, uses his driveway because the dude owns 4 cars and doesn't have the space. My dad doesn't have that much of a problem since he leaves his car in the garage and told me that whenever he needs to get it out, he just calls the girl and she moves the other one until a few months ago when apparently the girl's nowhere to be found and the guy's home all day. He had asked him a few times to please move the car and the dude just says, yeah, sure, and takes an hour or two to do so, and my dad can't drive because it's already too dark for him to see. Yesterday I went to visit him and he wanted to take me to see some sports cars. I don't know, man. He's like a child that he found next to a park, like those public car show-ups. I'm not sure. He wanted to drive his car, but the neighbor had his in my dad's driveway, so he went to ask him to please move it. He said yes, but after 30 minutes of not seeing him, my dad explained to me the above, and I said, no problem, and called someone to get it towed. This dude obviously freaked out when he saw what was happening and asked WTF I was doing. Apparently the dude doesn't have the right documentation for the car and can't get it back because he doesn't have the money. He's calling me an a-hole, and while my dad doesn't agree with him, he doesn't agree with me too. But man, my dad was doing him a favor, and he acted like an entitled jerk. Edit. I should clarify some things. He used to complain to my sister and I how he wasn't able to run errands from time to time. He never mentioned his neighbor or the car there. I just thought it was because he forgot about them or he forgot which buses took him to the places he needed to get. After the incident, I asked him about the situation, and he usually missed some quick runs to the store for food or personal items. Even if my dad wants to take his car out for something that could take him within a 2-minute walk, he's entitled to. He's a 62-year-old man who has worked since he was 13. He shouldn't be walking long or short distances just because some 25-ish doesn't want to get up when he's asked to. My dad's more than kind, and since he's sad all the time, he just doesn't want to fight. That didn't mean he's okay with the situation. He used to go 2 to 3 times to ask him to please move it because it was getting dark and he just didn't. Yeah, I didn't ask a second time, but I won't apologize for that. My dad didn't like that I said, I can get your crap back if you honestly apologize to my dad. He told me to get effed, and I said I won't get anything for him then. But I know my dad. I know he's happy to not have to deal with that car in his driveway anymore. The neighbor isn't mad at him anyway. He's mad at me. People will always take advantage of kindness. I hope your dad learns from this event. And our last story. I'm a realtor. Consider that I already sold this land. Recently, there was a large plot of land for sale with a good price, so quite a few people were interested in buying it. The problem is that it's surrounded on 2 sides by a village, on the other side by a wildlife preserve, and on the 4th side by my farm. Access to this property is through a small gap between my farm and the property, a little in the corner. However, it's a dense forest, no road at all, as no one has cared for this property for many, many years. So now I have a realtor who started driving up to my clearly marked private driveway with clients, parking on my lawn and walking 400 feet across my property to show this piece of land. At first, I tried to be polite and explain the situation. My driveway is quite long, marked as a street name 12 North, and ends right at my house. It can be confusing, and I don't want to be rude, so I told them that if they really wanted to show the land, just call me so I know ahead of time. Well, that worked once, and now they're just randomly pulling up again. So I got strict and told them, the real estate company and the agents who were showing up here, that this is my property and they were trespassing. They're not allowed to use my driveway to show this property. And there's no access to the property for sale on my land. If they so choose, they have to go up the road to that little gap where the road should be and go through the woods. Even the MLS listing lists that road as the address. They told me they were legally allowed to do what they were doing, and that if I wanted it to stop, perhaps I should buy the land myself. I also noticed that the address of this piece of land is now listed as 12 North, my street name, which gives the impression that my private driveway is an access point. They didn't stop for quite some time until I heard one tip from a very good friend. I've installed a gate at the end of my driveway, and signs that say private property are shot on the fork with my .50 caliber revolver and shotgun shells. After that, not a single crappy realtor dared go onto my land. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.